Hi everyone and welcome back. This is Sky coming on to talk to you very enthusiastically about the month of May 2023, the comprehensive astrology. As usual, I will be putting together some intuitive messages for you about the entire month ahead, and I will also be putting some astrology charts onto the screen and talking about all of the major transits that I have seen and breaking those down a little bit. If you guys are new to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button below if the video resonates, and do check out the description box as well to see this channel's other offerings. Yes, so how lovely it is to be coming on and talking about this very potent spring energy, especially if you're in the northern hemisphere. It's so incredible to be experiencing the spring energy alongside a really incredible Taurus stellium that we'll be having this month. Jupiter moving into Taurus, of course. Major Taurus stellium having the North Node, having Uranus, Jupiter, Mercury, Sun, Moon. We're going to be having 6 different bodies in the sign of Taurus this month. So it is not only spring seasonally here in the Northern Hemisphere, but it is also spring cosmically. So new birth, new vigor for life, new will, new intentions, new motivations, and a very fertile energy of growth we have coming into this month. So let's talk about what that means with some of the other energies as well. You know, Pluto going retrograde at that 0-degree point of Aquarius, moving back towards Capricorn. It'll take it a while. It won't be back in Capricorn by this month. But yeah, we have a lot of very new interplay of energy coming in. And jumping straight into these intuitive messages, the first thing that I would really identify about that is how important it is to have space, time, and openness or flexibility, room for movement, room for error. Okay, very interesting with these new energies coming in. So this is very different, you all. The rhythms or muscle memories that we have from the last 8-10 years are just not going to work here. Okay, so if you're somebody who's really reliant on routine, yes, we're going to need to be implementing new routines, but keyword is new. Okay, new routines. It's not going to really be able to be those old routines anymore, but routine will be very important with this very strong fixed energy that we have. Of course, this strong Taurus stellium, having Pluto in a fixed sign, having Jupiter, of course, being fixed, and at the same time, we have Saturn and Neptune in the mutable signs, right? We have this new Saturn in Pisces that we're accommodating now and acclimating ourselves towards, which means that we need way more flexibility. Okay, so we're accustomed to this like fixed, rigid Saturn and Aquarius energy that was there since the end of 2020. And we're going to have to start to get more flexible. And things are not just going to be able to be rigidly asserted. Okay, a lot of us might have this ideal, or we might have this like really strong desire here in May to be like, I want it to be this way and only this way, and it's going to take a little bit more experimentation. So Pluto at the 0-degree point of Aquarius, Saturn early in Pisces. It's going to require us to kind of like be maybe more scientific or more flexible or more hypothetical in our approach, and we might have to like kind of test things out. I do see like a pretty big phase of experimentation, testing, in order for us to get our systems better in our lives. So you guys know that I've been talking a lot about systems lately and creating new sort of like engineered systems in your life, new routines, new plans, new creative solutions to problems. And I think that a lot of people are holding themselves back and thinking, I'd rather just like keep it the same and have like guarantees than I would like have a better system. So we can't settle, okay? What we can actually do is we can settle for understanding that things are going to kind of like go into a pending experimentation phase, I feel, throughout these entire summer months, or June, July, and August. I know we have a lot of people from the Southern Hemisphere also on this channel, so I can't just limit my seasonal messages to the Northern Hemisphere, but throughout this June, July, August interlude, we're going to have like a lot more testing and sort of like spiritual feeling of flexibility, experimentation, finding, dare I say, a new normal, okay? And then by September of this year, there is more of a locking in. But yeah, honestly, the entire 23 to 26, especially 23 to like mid 2024. Saturn in Pisces, like halfway through the sign up to that 15-degree point of Saturn in Pisces, is going to be very supportive for like structuring a new experimentation or structuring new flexible ways, finding a system in your own life that works better for you. So something that you might be having in May, and this is a very strong intuitive message for me, is like thing after thing is not satisfactory. Okay, problem after problem is detected. Error message after error message pops up on the screen. Lack of agreement, lack of consensus is very likely right now. So we're moving from this like all planets direct phase, 3 months long that we had, from like January until late April. And of course, we're starting this month with the Mercury retrograde. We're coming into it with Mercury retrograde in Taurus. And there's going to be so much stuff that we're seeing like, oh my God, how did I let myself put that in my body? How for all those years I was like eating that like laboratory created food, or for all of those years I was just like accepting like that, I like not even questioning what I was like consuming or what I was pulling into my life. And this is going to be across the board, so it's not just going to be like food and economy, but it's also going to be like, gosh, I've let my possessions or my property like fall into that kind of condition, or I've let this or that become like that. And there's going to be this kind of like question mark exclamation point, like what, like how, like kind of wake up call, kind of like wake up slap as well for some people from the universe that comes in May. But only if you're like not really aware of the problems. Also, another possibility, if you're doing really well, which I think a lot of people watching this video will fall more into this category, you now have a totally like good plan forward. You now have a totally strong, comprehensive understanding of how to clear out some of the chaos energy in your life. So that becomes a very Kali kind of energy. That becomes a very like, for some people, a little bit destructive, but I do think that some of the chaos that some people have been facing over these last 3 or 4 years needs a little bit of destruction put towards it. So that's a message that you don't want to take out of context. But I will say, if you have something in your life that's like, it just haunts me or I can't get over it, like feel free to alleviate that from your life. Okay, specifically like inanimate situations that are in your control. So we don't want to take that message and go wild with it. But things that like only fall on you, or like things that are totally your choice and your free will election in your life. Okay, like what you eat, what you make your home environment like, the type of relationships you allow in your life. Feel free to clean it up a little bit, okay? Because and I've been recommending this for like the last 5 months on my channel. I hope that I'm not burning a hole in your head if you've been listening to this a lot, but like reducing, right? In the year of 2023, reduce, pull it in, make it a little bit more minimalist, and get yourself in a situation where you can allow new growth, okay? Because I feel like burnout is a big crisis for a lot of people after those last 2 years. Those Saturn-Uranus squares, we've had Jupiter move through the entire sign of Aries in about, 3, 4 months, 5 months, something like that. It is May, after all. I can't believe it's already May of 2023. But yeah, Jupiter will change into Taurus, and of course it will have a retrograde pretty quick in that sign this summer. But it has moved really fast through Aries. It has sprinted through Aries. And I think that a lot of people might be a little more burnt out than they realize, or a lot of people might be a little bit more like worn out and need to like really soothe, relax, and recover. So again, that's where I'm feeling routines, and that's where I'm feeling like actually the color green, right? The color green is a power color for the month of May. For those of you who are really into like color psychology and color energy, with all of this Taurus energy, all right, we are looking at the color green for sure. So what are things that are green? Okay, obviously the earth element, springtime, the heart chakra, right? Money, okay, I suppose at least certain forms of it. All of those things are starting to like come in to be growing in a different kind of way. So yeah, if you've been also like a business owner, I think that there's a lot of context and connotation with economy and business this month as it changes and becomes new. Okay, so this is not the old way of doing things. This is not that old format anymore. This is a different way. This is a more intuitive way, and it's going to be defining itself as it goes. So we don't like have all of the answers, right? We don't have, let's like if you're investing or if you're enterprising in any way during this time, it's not just going to be clear. And if you're someone who's very type A and needs all of that like direction and clarity and like contractual energy and stuff like really guaranteed for you, it's just not going to be here. Okay, that's the challenge of this period of time is we have all this fixed energy, but it's not really going to have any guarantee, and it's not going to be solid in the way that it expresses. And why is that? That's because of this new Pluto at 0 degrees of Aquarius. That's because of this new Saturn in the mutable sign of Pisces. Those two aspects in the sky right now are just not going to allow things to be very definable. But that's the hard thing, is because we have this big push of Taurus energy that wants that definition and wants that inner knowing and outer consensus. Inner knowing meeting outer consensus. I feel it's like what people are craving right now, but it may not be there. If you have anything in your life that can give that to you, like this is definitely where those long running marriages, 20 plus years, 10 plus years, those long running ownership constructs, like having like heritage property, having like heritage, even like religious values, that's where that type of stuff, I'm getting chills with this actually, that type of stuff becomes very valuable during this larger social time of discohesion, where it's like the inner knowing can't really meet the outer consensus. I will say that's about the only place I think that you can really find it is in these, like, in some cases, even like century or longer contexts that are just so strong at the root that it can still provide that. But anything new, okay, so that want to start a new business, that want to live a new place, or to like pioneer this new chapter of your life, it's just not going to provide that kind of like root. It's going to be more ethereal. It's going to be more, for some people, like zesty and full of like, full of resonance and full of gratification. But there's going to be something about it that's kind of like walking across one of those like tightrope bridges in the wind across the chasm. It's not going to really feel that stable. It's not going to be like going, I don't know, through some type of like really solid infrastructure. But that doesn't necessarily make it bad. It doesn't even necessarily make it dangerous. It just, the sensation is not really going to feel very stable, okay? Because Uranus has been in Taurus for such a long time, of course, since 2018. And we're starting to see like the consolidation of that, and it's getting so far. And just pulling up my charts again here. Should I go ahead and I'll go ahead and put the charts on the screen. We might still be kind of in intuitive messages, but we'll talk about it. Okay, so Uranus, I'm just writing down my timestamp. The brain is in 17 different places at once. Okay. Uranus, 18 degrees of Taurus. So it's well past that middle point and getting towards that third decan. It's still in the late second decan of Taurus, which, that part of Taurus is very much about like, kind of like poetic ways of feeling stability and security. But that's the key part of it, is it's poetic. We actually don't really get, in my opinion, the second decan of Taurus is the less stable part of the sign, because the first decan is kind of like inherent stability and even like inherited stability. The second decan tries to kind of redefine it. And then the third decan is the combination of, inherent stability and then not pioneered, but like reached for stability or trying to get more. So we're in that like late stage of like trying so hard to like get something, trying so hard to like take something to the next level. And yes, it's yielding results, but we're still maybe not like in consensus or conclusion about what those results are. So that's going to magnify. And I will say that that's what I feel for most people who are in that stage of their life where they're like innovating or enterprising or doing something that their family have never done. it's going to yield a lot of results. It's going to give a lot, but it's still going to probably be another few years, even 2 or 3 years, before we can really conclude on whether it was like a net positive or negative. And that's just something that the larger collective is going through. So kind of know that if you're wanting to start something new in your life, if you're wanting to take on something that's not ancestral or not even like familiar to your life so far, there's just going to be a, question about it for a long time. But it doesn't mean it's bad. It doesn't mean it's kind of like a lot of things we can see in society right like that right now, where there's like development and progression and innovation, but we can't quite like understand it, or we can't put our finger on it. It's very tied to this like actually like Taurus stellium and then Pluto and Aquarius, of course. But yes, a few more intuitive messages. Okay. I feel that there is also a hollowing out this May. So if there's something in your life that's taking too much from you, the burnout or the hollowing out or the kind of like inconvenience or pain of it will be so clear that you can't like dress it up. You can't romanticize it. And in general, I feel that things which are negative, which we've been romanticizing, it won't continue like that after May. So I actually think that that's a good thing, because I think that a lot of people have been engaged with things that they're like romanticizing, or they're kind of like idealizing, but it's maybe like not true. So that's going to get clearer and clearer in May. And it's going to just kind of show you that there are other things to receive, or there are new healthier routines and comfort to have instead of like pushing so hard. Also, I will say, if there's been something that you've been like needing to act on for a long time, it was really good in April, but also good in May. By the time we get to June, it's going to move much more to reception oriented, as Jupiter will be out of Aries, of course, and we'll have all that Taurus energy, which again, remember, the sign of Taurus will be in Taurus season, and like 6 different bodies and signs. Like, you guys don't know how rare it is to have like even like 4 or more in one sign, but to have 6. Again, that's going to be the Sun, the Moon, Uranus, the North Node, Mercury, and Jupiter, major Taurus stellium. That sign is about reception, and it's about natural allowance. It's about not trying so hard. It is very much going to be more important what you are just like naturally coalescing or culminating or pulling in than what you have to try so hard to get. I mean, that's a really big part of May, and like kind of having that shift in paradigm, or that shift in realization or consciousness that permits you to receive more in your life versus like pushing away, or because reaching also is a pushing mechanism, right? When you reach for something, you're actually pushing a lot of things away. So it's better to like allow this month. Also, right, we're in eclipse season in May. We had the April 20th total solar eclipse, which I have a video about, and then we'll have a lunar eclipse in Scorpio on May the 5th, which I will be making a video about. Hit that subscribe button below to get notified when that goes out. But yeah, that's going to be real, you all. And it's more in the eastern section of the globe, I believe. So like over Asia, Africa, I believe, like, don't quote me on it, I've got to do more research in it, but I believe that neither of these eclipses are going over North and South America. I think that it's the other side of the globe. So that is something to take into account. But nonetheless, of course, if you have anything in Scorpio, especially those early degrees, we have like a big emotional shift happening. And I will say, lunar eclipse in Scorpio, 2023 lunar eclipse in Scorpio, it just will never, like, the level of chaos, the level of like karmic difficulty, there's on one hand an opportunity to never have to deal with it again. So I'm seeing like finality on certain long running darknesses or problems. And then on the other hand, there's also like never having to have that story again, or never having to like be the like quote unquote hero or rescuer, or like kind of like coming out of the darkness with things, bringing things to the light. So it's like an opportune time for bringing light to the darkness, or bringing like some kind of major transformative energy. But try to understand that that's not something that needs to last forever, and that that's not something that needs to like really continue too long. And it's going to like really pinpoint, I think, to that first few weeks of May, like this sort of like transformative energy and like really bringing something chaotic into a more peaceful place. So there's definitely an opportunity for peace bringing or chaos bringing. It can definitely go either way. But I just want you guys to know that something real and material, right, like the Taurus Scorpio axis, will change during this eclipse window. And it's just never going to like resurface in this way again. So I want you guys to know that we're working and dealing with that level of received finality in this month, okay? And whatever way that you can meet that halfway in a peaceful and high vibrational way, the better. Is there anything in your own life, I would definitely be asking or journaling that, like, what do I need to like finish with? What do I need to never have that darkness again come through? What do I need to like really show the universe and show myself and my loved ones, like what never needs to happen again, or what never needs to like really get to a certain level of stagnation. Ooh, stagnation, big thing with this eclipse season. There's a big working out of stagnation happening this May, and it's going to be real. It's going to also be like a new spring in your life once you do it. So that's important to know. But yeah, anyway, I'm talking for quite a long time here. I'm going to transition just specifically into looking at these charts, and we'll go through that. I will give you guys a little bit of an advertisement for my Patreon page, which is linked below. Every week I do T-chats over there, which are weekly forecasts, and they're very valuable. The Patreon page is the only way that this YouTube channel remains possible here in 2023. And if you've been considering it, it's going to be a great summer over there, or winter if you're in the Southern Hemisphere. And we're going to be just really focusing on making that content really spectacular for you all. So it's very reasonable, and it's keeping this channel possible, keeping this endeavor of mine going. So definitely check it out below. It's such a great value, and really something that is special community-wise as well. So that'll be the first link in the description box. Okay, let's talk about charts. Okay, I'm just pulling both of these charts back up. On the left, we have, I think it's probably been on the screen for a while, May 1st of 2023, and then on the right, May 31st of 2023. Okay, so the first thing that I notice is actually how quickly Jupiter is moving away from Chiron. Okay, so they have been really dancing together for quite a long time, and I think that like Jupiter has had its fill. Okay, so it's like we had a very karmic March and April. It was crazy with those Jupiter Chiron conjunctions in Aries, and I think that a lot of people got some like major golden in the mind understandings of like what they have to do to heal something, what they have to do to make something more efficient, more functional, more well, okay? The question is whether we were able to act. I think that this time from the 1st to the 31st, we'll see a lot of action for people about like, again, kind of clearing out that like dark, stagnant, chaotic energy. But Jupiter is not really wanting to stay there for much longer. So it's limited. Okay, we are more limited in May, and by June, it's over. Okay, so there's this small like window to like pinpoint problems and like bring them to the light or bring them out of the realm of existence, like any kind of like major chaos. But by the time of June, it just won't feel right anymore, and it will feel like we just want things to allow things to be the way that they are. And already by the beginning of May, it's like just more limited. And Jupiter's like, I'm done with all of that. I'm done with that like heavy, dense energy of Chiron. And it really kind of moves away. Of course, it will retrograde back eventually, but that will be quite a ways down the road. Also, okay, we have Mars going all the way through the sign of Cancer, and it will finish its transit through Cancer, which is good. Once we get Mars in Leo, which will probably be around like May 20th. I don't have the exact date for that. I have like all these other dates written down, but you guys can definitely check that out on your own time, like when Mars goes into Leo, one way or another by the end of May. Okay, we're going to be a lot healthier with our bodies, with our action, with our direct energy. And Mars is going to be so relieved to get into the sign of Leo after it spent 6 months retrograding through the sign of Gemini, and then going from that into its debilitated sign of Cancer. So we've been in a very debilitated Mars energy for like almost the last year. It will have been the last 9 months for sure. So there's going to be a 9-month resolution. Okay, so from like September of 2022 until May of 2023, something really dysfunctional can clear up from that period of time. So that is going to be really nice to see. Venus, we have going from the sign of Gemini to Cancer, fine. We have good relationship energy. There's nothing problematic that I see with the planet of Venus. So definitely lean into your healthy relationships, lean into your family relationships as well, and friendships. Family and friends during this time will be a good area of fineness, okay, of health. So new family, new friends as well. Very nice, very nice. I will remind you that we will also be having Venus-Mars conjunctions later in the summer. So new romance can bloom under that, and new relationships are just really a home run for people if they can focus it right in the year of 2023. It's very kitschy, it's very familial, and it's very loving if you allow yourself to open up space for that. Okay, let's see, what else do I want to talk about for the specific astrology transits? Let's just do some chronological order. I already talked about the lunar eclipse a little bit on May 5th, but definitely write that down that we will be having a lunar eclipse on May 5th, and make your own preparations in Scorpio. I'll make a specific video about it as well when we get closer. On the 9th of May, we have a Sun-Uranus conjunction in the sign of Taurus. So what that means is that we will be getting some light shed on what this Uranus in Taurus over these last 5 years has really been shaping up. So I think that we're going to maybe get some headlines or understanding about certain economic issues, economic innovation, food supply issues, digital currency issues, currency in general. There may be on the 9th of May even, some type of revealing or launch or clarity that is brought up about that. Also, we have, of course, I already mentioned the 6-planet, 6-body Taurus stellium of the Sun, Moon, Mercury, Jupiter, Uranus, and the North Node. The Mercury retrograde in Taurus that we start the month with will end on the 14th of May. So that's the first half of the month that we do have a Mercury retrograde. You guys know all about what Mercury retrogrades are. This particular one in the sign of Taurus at that degree point will again deal with food. It will deal with nutrients. It will deal with agriculture as well, and growth, any type of plant growing, any type of crop harvesting or growth or planting, or agricultural norms will perhaps get a little bit of Mercury retrograde energy. So there could be some kind of issue with food imports, food exports, or even local food economies could be having some type of challenge during this time. But there will also be a revealing with that Sun-Uranus conjunction happening at the same time as the Mercury retrograde in Taurus. That shows maybe a new way forward, or a new type of method or system relating to food. And then also any kind of major material economy. So food, also fabrics or clothing, or not so much technology and industry, but the more down to the earth economies, food production, and anything relating to any materials like cottons or silks or hemp, or anything like that might be having some type of disruption this month, but then it's going to maybe be evolved through finding a solution for that. Also, by the end of the month, we will be having Pluto moving retrograde, so it will not even get to the first full degree of Aquarius. So, technically the zero is the first degree, but it won't be getting into 1 degree of Aquarius. It will turn retrograde, and I believe, I am not sure how long exactly it is until it goes back into Capricorn, but I'm going to try to get that date for you all. Just bear with me so we can know how long it's going to retrograde at that point. Okay, I'm seeing by the middle of July, it's already back in Capricorn. Okay, it's actually June 11th that Pluto will go back into Capricorn. So we only get really this 1 full month once it goes retrograde. Okay, so it's going to not quite a full month, actually. It'll go retrograde on May 14th and then be back in Capricorn by June 11th. So we're only getting just such a small little dose of Pluto in Aquarius. So this what is foreshadowed during this time, and there's a lot there for sure that we could talk about, will be important. So it's a very great time for kind of like putting in some type of experimentation, or like kind of like trying something new in your own life, or kind of like setting a bit of a test on like a totally new system in your life, or a totally new creative process, because then it will get kind of like remeasured by Pluto and Capricorn, and you can like, with more data, enter into the final movement into Pluto and Aquarius. So that will be interesting to see how that develops. But anyway, everyone, I think that I'm going to conclude the video there. Be sure to come check out this channel on Patreon. It is linked below and a really good value. Hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed it, and thumbs up the video to get it out there. I hope you enjoyed this May comprehensive astrology video. Have a great month. Talk to you soon. Bye.